In the ancient land of Egypt, where the mighty pyramids cast long shadows over the bustling markets, a new chapter in history was unfolding. The Israelites, descendants of Joseph, had grown exceedingly fruitful, their numbers multiplying until they filled the land. But Pharaoh, who knew nothing of Joseph's legacy, saw the growing Israelite population as a threat. "Look," he said to his people, "the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. If war breaks out, they might join our enemies and leave the country." To curb their numbers and prevent rebellion, the Egyptians imposed brutal forced labor on the Israelites, building the cities of Pithom and Ramesses. Yet the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied, spreading throughout the land like the promise of hope. Pharaoh, growing increasingly desperate, ordered the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah, to kill every newborn Hebrew boy. But the midwives, fearing God, let the boys live, defying the king's orders and preserving the future of Israel. Amid this backdrop of fear and oppression, a child of destiny was born. A Levite woman gave birth to a son and hid him for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she placed him in a papyrus basket coated with tar and pitch, setting him afloat among the reeds of the Nile. Pharaoh's daughter, bathing in the Nile, discovered the crying infant and felt compassion. "This is one of the Hebrew babies," she said, and took him in as her own, naming him Moses because I drew him out of the water. Moses grew up as a prince of Egypt, but his heart ached for his people. One day, he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew and, in a moment of rage, killed the Egyptian. Fearing for his life, Moses fled to Midian, where he began anew. In Midian, while tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, Moses encountered a burning bush that was not consumed by the flames. From within the fire, God called out, "Moses, Moses!" And thus the mission to free his people began. With a staff in hand and God's promise in his heart, Moses returned to Egypt. Confronting Pharaoh, he demanded, "Let my people go." Thus began a series of divine signs and wonders that would lead to the liberation of the Israelites. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and Egypt was struck by plagues. Finally, broken by the loss of his firstborn, Pharaoh relented. The Israelites left Egypt, their numbers great, carrying with them the hope of freedom and the promise of a land flowing with milk and honey.